Happy Devil's Wednesday. This is the Woo Report, episode 91, titled In Fitz We Trust. I am your host, Sam Woo, coming to you live on Facebook Live, Twitter Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch on the Primetime Radio Network. Good morning, everybody. In New Jersey, a little bit of an early podcast. I'm going on vacation. I figured I'd bust out a podcast, a live podcast before I go. In Fitz We Trust, a little bit later today, I will have an article about Tom Fitzgerald, how he is the best hire of the Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment Company. Tom Fitzgerald having the summer of Fitz, a great offseason of transactions. Good morning, David Decker of Facebook Live. Yeah, it's a little bit early this morning. Keep your hands on the wheel for your morning commute. 10 and 2, 9 and 3, whatever you want. But be safe and keep your eyes on the road. All right, so it's a happy Devil's Wednesday. And in Fitz We Trust. I am a big supporter of Tom Fitzgerald. He has done a masterful job, given the circumstances when he was thrown to the mess in early 2020, dealing with the pandemic. But the show must go on. The New Jersey Devils are building and building and building. And I think they learned the lessons of the past. I think they have figured it out. The farm system is starting to look really good. The pipeline is being filled. As fans and as the organization, we've kind of paid the price a lot. Watching terrible hockey, not spending any money, but not mortgaging the future, weaponizing the cap, making great trades like for Ryan Graves. When they traded Taylor Hall away, they basically got Dawson Mercer in return, along with Christian Jaros, Jonas Thiegenthaler, Kevin Ball. Defense. Tom Fitzgerald has rebuilt that defense, not only with size, but with some skill as well. And this is going to be a young blue line led by Dougie Hamilton, signing the biggest free agent in the crop on defense. That's huge, literally and figuratively. Good morning, Matt Junio and Facebook Live. Good morning, everybody. It's a little bit early Woo Report, but I'm going on vacation tonight. 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we will have the State of the Fan address. I'll be doing it from Cooperstown, New York. One of my, sightseeing tours. Andrew Gilbert can't wait for the season to start. I can't wait for the season to start. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Wow, Alan Moda from Southern California. Yeah, what are you doing up this early? Well, you probably set your alert for the Woo Report, and you probably woke up and like, hey, a little Devils hockey talk never hurt anybody early in the morning in California. It's a Devils nation. Let's Go Devils podcast is all over the world. In Fitz we trust. I trust Fitzy. Notice that there are a lot of 2-year deals, and I've said this over and over and over again, a lot of 2-year deals, and this is why I like 2-year deals. Because if it doesn't work out the first year, you can ship them off for more draft picks. You don't commit long term. With the exception of Dougie Hamilton, all these transactions that Fitzgerald has made during this offseason all have 2 years or less. Ryan Graves, 2 years left on his contract. Jaros, 1 year left. The Thomas Tatar signing, 2 years at a relatively fair market price. But the Devils did have to overpay Dougie Hamilton, but if you're going to get a player like Dougie Hamilton, you're going to have to overpay. And what's great about this is PK Subban's $8 million monster contract is coming off the books next season. More flexibility, not mortgaging the future. Signing Jack Hughes to a long-term deal. Hughes and Heischer down the middle for multiple years to come. Sounds like Malkin and Crosby, doesn't it? After all, Fitzy came from the Pittsburgh Penguins organization following Ray Shero. P. Maggio loves the direction that we're headed. I do. Hey, I'll say it over again. Last season, you ever go to the Let's Go Devils podcast post game? Scotty and I last season, Scotty had to talk me off the ledge. But in Fitz, we trust right now. In Fitz, we trust right now. This is Tom Fitzgerald's team. His name is, and DNA is all over this team right now. Taking over for Ray Shero, his friend, close friend and mentor. Was not easy getting through this pandemic. 9.5 months without any hockey. A veteran goaltender that you signed, Corey Crawford, had to retire suddenly. The COVID outbreak, and somehow, even though the Devils did not do well in the win column, and we do not believe moral victories, but there was something special that came out of last season. Yegor Sharangovich, Mikey McLeod earning a 2-year deal. Same with Sharangovich, Kokkonen, 2-year deal. Love it. Ty Smith. Oh, did you expect Ty Smith to play that well? Poise and just with some major skill? Did you expect that? Believe it or not, it was actually Chico Resch that kind of alluded to that. Our good friend of the podcast, Chico Resch, he said, after he didn't make the team, started 2019 season, had a disastrous start to juniors, but he started to turn it around second half of the season. Unfortunately, got cut short because of the COVID stoppage worldwide. But Ty Smith comes in and, he really, really impressed a lot of folks. Michael Viola says the biggest improvement to look out for is the time and space that these new players will create for our young forwards. That was the big improvement Taylor Hall provided when he had that great season. Absolutely. Takes the pressure off. It definitely takes the pressure off. And by the way, speaking of Taylor Hall, and I alluded to this in the article that's going to be up today, hopefully, on pucksandpitchforks.com. The Devils ownership group, they went for it. The stress of will Taylor Hall sign long-term in New Jersey? I tell you, I think they took the organization a couple steps back in the immediate, in the present time. But for the future, look what you got out of Taylor Hall. I mean, let's see what Dawson Mercer can do, and Kevin Ball, Jaros, and Siegenthaler being those picks. I love following. I will follow the Adam Larson Taylor Hall trade, even though the Devils, Hall had that MVP type season. I think the biggest impact Taylor Hall would have is what the Devils got out of Taylor Hall in the next 5 to 10 years when Kevin Ball develops, and hopefully he develops. I mean, he's a big monster. Dawson Mercer. And I think Siegenthaler and Jaros will bring some consistency to that blue line. David Decker makes a great comment, and Alan Moda agrees in the Facebook Live. Houses are overpriced. Vehicles are overpriced. So it's okay premium defensemen are overpriced. Absolutely. There's no inventory of houses. There's absolutely no inventory of vehicles. And I think David Decker will like this joke. Dougie Hamilton does not require a key fob microchip. Anyway. Yeah. But you know what? You're going to have to overpay for a defenseman like Dougie Hamilton because guess what? It puts all the free agents on notice that the Devils are now turning the corner. They've got cap space. They've got a young nucleus. They've got a team right now that is just ready to become the next dynasty of the NHL. Tyler B in the YouTube Live says, I think we still need another middle six winger or third line center. Tyler, yeah, I agree. But at the same time, I don't think it needs to be done now. You can wait on that. See how things play out. You never know. You never know who may come up through the system. You may never know. I don't think it's going to happen. I wouldn't suggest it, but you never know if Alexander Holtz makes this team in the beginning of the season. You just don't know what happens in training camp. But sitting at $13 million of cap space, you have the leverage. Tom Fitzgerald built this team. He gets a lot of credit. He has the leverage right now to do whatever he wants. He's got options. Where in years past, actually, in all fairness to Ray Shero, his hands were tied behind his back as they were ripping it down. And then he had to, hey, the great progress forward with Taylor Hall and making the playoffs, it kind of was fool's gold. But I think the Devils got it right this time. Lesson learned of the past. Keep filling up that talent pool, that pipeline, because that plus cap management will get you great players at the right price, and not only great players, but the right ones. It's hard to find the right ones. And don't waste the money, says David Decker. Yep, absolutely. And if you want to waste money, Joshua Harris and David Blitzer, hey, spend it on us. Spend it on us. Us, the fans. It doesn't count against the cap. Don't worry. But yeah, you know what? Andrew Gilbert agrees in Facebook Live. No need to use the extra cap. Absolutely no need. Absolutely no need. And that's the beauty of why I say in Fitz we trust. We trust Fitzy to do the right thing. He's not the GM that talks a lot. He's not he just does his job and does it well. And he's a hockey guy. There's all this talk about analytics. He's putting his trust in scouting and analytics. But you know what? He is, I believe he's a hockey player first. He understands the game because he played in the NHL and played very well. And one of my favorite teams back in the 90s, aside from the New Jersey Devils, was the Florida Panthers. When they threw the Rats on the ice, Tom Fitzgerald, he was part of that team. Him and Scott Mellenby, Joe Vokop, Do you remember that team? It was a great team. Very good team. John Van Beesbrook, who later became a Devil. Keep that pipeline going, Fitzy. In Fitz we trust. In Fitz we trust, I tell you. Well, go to pucksandpitchforks.com. You'll see my article sometime later today. Also, at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, I'll be in Cooperstown, New York. But still, the show must go on. Nick Villano and I will talk about why possibly the Devils will be first place in the Metropolitan Division this upcoming season. Yeah, and there's going to be some statistical analysis or analyses, whichever you want to call it, to back it up. Woo, what are you talking about? Don't worry about it. In Fitz we trust. Well, that's all for now. I'm heading on vacation. I'll see you at 8:30 p.m. Eastern tonight on State of the Fan Address, presented by pucksandpitchforks.com and Nick Villano, Pucks and Pitchforks blog editor-in-chief. This is the Woo Report. Till next time, let's go Devils.